Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the new Cruella movie that just came out on Disney+. So I'm definitely excited to be doing this. This video right here is going to be a short review. I plan to do a full podcast later in the week, going more in depth on the full movie and what we might think might happen next. But with that being said, starting out, I'm here with my sister, going to be talking about kind of what we thought since we sat down, watched the movie. And I mean, yeah, it was really fun. I mean, if first of all, what do you think? How did you enjoy the movie?
Well, yes. First of all, hi everyone. Glad to be here. Glad to be on the channel. We've been talking about this for a really long time, and we're just really excited to start it off with this movie. And to be honest, I didn't really have any expectations going into the movie because I didn't even really know about it that much, to be honest. Like, I never saw any trailers or anything, which I was gonna mention is kind of something cool that I've liked during COVID, because I feel like movies, at least I'm not really into the film world, at least I haven't seen that many things. I feel like going into a movie blindly, it's a lot better almost. Because you're kind of not like under a certain expectation, which I really liked. Because I recently watched a few months ago the Kong vs. Godzilla, and it was kind of the same thing. I kind of just went into the movie not knowing, but same thing here. I thought it was really cool, and to be quite honest, I never really watched 101 Dalmatians that like fully. I don't think I've ever watched the full thing, but I've always liked the whole villain perspective of things. Like how they've done Maleficent in the past. So you kind of see like why they're the way they are. So I really thought that it was really good.
Yeah, so, I think with this movie, they're definitely following that trope. I think I liked it a lot better. But I mean, it's just crazy what they decided to do. I mean, for example, this movie starts out obviously kind of trying to explain Cruella in like a weird kind of light, right? So she's born with strange hair, and you already know that she's unique. Obviously, they in the first part of the movie, she's a kid, she's a troublemaker. Obviously, something about her, she just can't really control herself, and it definitely seems like she like just has something, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think because of her weird hair, she feels like she needs to stand out even more. It's kind of like a reasoning. But yeah, I think it's definitely cool, that it just gives her character off the bat, So yeah, and then from there it just kind of goes, straight to her adulthood. We don't really see much of a difference. So I mean, I don't know if we can go into too much depth here, but I'm pretty sure it's obvious that if anything, I mean, I think I might make the review spoiler free, so we won't talk too much about it. I mean, there's something that happens in the beginning that kind of affects where she ends up later on. Obviously, she meets different people that kind of grow up with her. She has her own her own dog that kind of like parallels to what she's been doing. But eventually, she finally kind of works hard enough, and well, I wouldn't say work. She's pretty much like a street rat, kind of like Aladdin, cause living out off the land, really. But I feel like she also does have that talent for sure. Like, I feel like she's a street rat just because of the situation that she ended up in, but she does have the talent, and you can see that throughout the film.
Yeah, because I mean, after her friends were able to kind of help her get into her, I guess, dream job, she definitely had the talent. At first, she gets a job as a maid, or I guess when they hire her, they make her a maid, and she's fed up with it and everything. But eventually, I wouldn't say gets her shot, but she has enough, and then she does this one thing where it kind of gets someone's attention, or like the big antagonist attention in a way. Right.
So like the plot, that's when the plot kind of starts to pick up a little bit.
Right, and then she's given a chance at that point. Yeah.
I mean, I probably should have watched the trailer after I saw the movie, just to kind of see like what's already been out there before I because I don't want to give spoilers.
I feel like you made a good point in that regard, because like I always feel like maybe trailers kind of ruin stuff. They should make just one teaser trailer to show that they are making the movie, and then one major trailer, and that's it. Because I feel like if I ever made a movie, I don't know how this works. Maybe this is what I think I should do, but it's not how the business works. I would just show one movie, because I feel like one trailer, because I feel like then 2 trailers, 3 trailers, they start giving a lot of the movie.
Yeah, I usually never watch trailers, to be honest, and I always hate sometimes how there's multiple trailers because, you know, you don't want people to give it off. Like, for example, good thing I had watched the episode. I was watching a show one time, and good thing I had watched the episode before I saw any of the trailers, because in the trailer they say something that I thought was very key specific, like, whoa, like, what the heck,
right,
you know, but at the same time, maybe it's like a attention grabber, obviously.
Yeah, I guess thankfully from the trailers I saw, it didn't give anything away. I mean, I know from the movie, you know, after she's given her chance, you know, she goes in and starts impressing her boss, obviously, you know, and more until, you know, there's a certain point where I guess they have this kind of bonding moment where, like, oh, you know, she actually respects me and everything. But then, you know, that's when the big twist comes in, and, you know, then she kind of shifts focuses, right? That's when she eventually plans out kind of like how to get the specific item that she needs to get, and that's where maybe like you see the little beginnings of Cruella.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that when they kind of introduce Cruella, like at first it's a little weird to me. Like, I feel like it's a little sudden almost, but I guess going back to like how she was in the past, like when she was a kid, when they first showed you, like you can definitely tell that is her.
Yeah, I feel like she, you know, like the character came out of nowhere, but in the sense I felt like she got it from the villain herself. Like, she was trying to act like her to kind of like
mock her.
Yeah, because like obviously the villain is very, very confident, very like, oh, I have all the power in the world. Right. So like, how do you combat that? Well, you gotta kind of like show you're not scared, and kind of like if they say something, you kind of brush it off, like oh, really? I don't feel
like this is much of a spoiler, but in the movie she kind of like says like, oh, you kind of have to do the things that she like Spike's like saying thank you or something like that. You know, like do little like minor things to kind of tick her off. You know,
right? It's like, you know, going against it's like when somebody calls you a bad name, and you know, obviously don't let it affect you. It affects them because they expected you to retaliate.
Kind of like use that name as your like like your, like, kind of reminds me of like I don't know if you guys have watched My Hero, but how Bakugo calls him Deku, and then he just used that as his hero name, kind of. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that, but that's kind of like that kind of thing, you know, where you don't let things define you, or well, I mean, I guess not define you, but kind of like bring you down, and you kind of use that as like to prove to like move forward, push forward, you know. Like,
yeah, because she definitely used that just to like better herself in this new persona. And I mean, you can see that through the movie. Obviously, as the movie progresses, there's a lot of stuff that she kind of like improves, and in a way kind of lets affect her. She starts kind of like becoming Cruella and kind of forgetting who she was. That definitely kind of like made me a little like I didn't like that.
I don't know. I feel like yes and no. Like how I said, it almost didn't really feel like her. Like at first, of course, it was like a character because she's introduced as Estella. Estella, that's like her name. But it's weird. Like even her friends are kind of like, hey, like when like
you're going too far.
So like so they had done like this plan to kind of like mock the stylist or whatever.
Right, the first heist.
Yeah, like there was like a heist, and well, we're not gonna go too much into it, but it was like a character. It was supposed to be like a black and white gala, so obviously she used her iconic black and white hair to kind of whatever, and then the next day she's still acting like this like character with black and white hair, and her friends are like, hey, like you know, you can drop the gig, you know. So, like, it's weird. Like, I feel like that's, like, in a sense where I feel like it was a little weird because, like yeah, she just kind of started acting like it. But then I feel like later on you can kind of see that maybe that was her. Right. You know? And, like, with everything that goes on, obviously it escalates her to keep that persona. Yeah,
I mean, throughout the movie, she just gets, you know, more Cruella and more Cruella. I guess you would say more and more like Cruella. I'm definitely, you know, wondering how or at what point she becomes kind of like full Cruella, because throughout, you know, we kind of like I said, the movie really kind of like paints her as a normal person who struggles, like because technically I'm sure like all villains, no matter how bad you are, you started out somewhere. I mean, it's obviously like just like we did with Maleficent, where she was wronged, right? You know, the guy betrayed her, and even in different movies, I mean, you could even compare it to Star Wars, where Anakin, you know, he was a hopeful boy and he felt betrayed, and now he turned into Vader. And like, how does, you know, someone who was so keen on being the hero turned out to be the villain? And just like her too, I mean, she.
But it's like weird because she's almost not the villain. You know what I mean?
No, in this movie, she's definitely just an anti-hero.
Right.
I just wonder how she'll escalate, because overall the movie still kind of like treats her pretty well at the end. I mean, after that initial heist, there's a few more stuff she does after a few more things are revealed in regards to kind of like who the villain is to her and how this all connects.
Yeah. But as far as, you know, if you should watch the movie, I definitely think you should give it a chance. I really liked the way that what's her name, Emma Stone. Yeah, I really liked the way that she played Cruella. You know, I'm always kind of weird with people using like accents when they don't really use accents, but I don't know, it was pretty cool. It was good. And as far as like a Disney movie goes, I think it was really good. You know, like Disney just always hits it.
Yeah, very unique. I mean, I feel like, you know, the movie was great.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. I mean,
there
set
was
pieces.
Like, an animation.
Oh yeah,
and
like the animation was pretty good with the dogs. Some were like a little iffy, but like then I realized what they were doing.
Yeah.
The outfits were amazing. If anything, this movie's gonna get like wardrobe awards.
Oh, yeah.
Her outfits were always on
like
point.
One of the main things. Like again, I said I never really watched the trailer, but maybe I'm sure it must have been like announced that this is like a fashion type of
definitely.
Thing. But oh my god, like it definitely.
Yeah, I think like I see, but like for example, like you liked it when she revealed herself with the red dress, correct?
Did they show that in the trailer? Oh yeah,
that's an ending like shot for the trailer when she so I knew that was gonna happen, but
like that.
But like hearing your reaction,
I didn't know, like I said, like I hadn't seen any of it. I've literally only seen like movie posters, which I was like, to be honest, I was like I'm not really gonna watch it, but you know, sometimes you just gotta sit down and watch something and just you get amazed and stuff. But that was a really cool thing, you know, like I really wasn't expecting it, to be honest, because like, you know, black and white, I expected her to be black and white, but when I think about it now, like she does have a red dress, and it happens to be like the dress that the lady had designed, you know, so it wasn't really like how do I explain it, like maybe it could have been seen as like, oh, she's like a fan of mine rather than like a future enemy, you know. But it was cool. I liked it a lot. I was confused like where it was going, like with she got like the lighter or the match, and I wasn't really sure where it was going, and I was like, oh, like wow, like that's really cool. And then like her black and white hair and stuff, it was cool. And I'm not really sure what other costumes were revealed, but there were a lot of good ones. Like definitely I would rate it really high. Like I think it did a really good job, and I think even like if you have watched maybe 101 Dalmatians or whatever, like I think it does it a pretty good, you know, I don't know what the right word for it is here, but like, you know how sometimes it's not really like a one-to-one movie, but it's just kind of based off of it, you know? Like, I think they did really well with the character.
I feel like there was, like I said, we were young. I'm sure we saw 101 Dalmatians, but like I said, we're like 2000s kids. Like Dalmatians was like so long ago. I feel like some of these Disney movies, like you really haven't really gone back and watched it. Like I feel like the only reason I might know some of these stories personally is through Kingdom Hearts, maybe, because like thinking about like I've never seen Cruella de Vil, or like I've never really seen the original Peter Pan, for example. Like we saw the sequel. The only reason I know Peter Pan is because like of all these like alternate stories, like Hook and stuff like that. So I think, you know, going back and really just focusing on
maybe,
the villain.
like if we go in depth with everything, maybe I would like to compare like how she was in the 101 Dalmatians movie to now. You know, like to the modern day Cruella.
Yeah, we could probably like watch the original, because like I want to see just how bad she was, because I heard like, you know, her whole thing, like she's terrible, she kills, you know, dogs and makes coats, and I know they hinted that in the movie, because, you know, there's this scene later where she is gonna, you know, she's doing one of her shows, I guess you would say, and then, you know, she comes out with like the black and white dress, but it's like the spots, and so it's hinted that like, oh, did she kill the dogs? And I just kept thinking like, man, how would that look? Why would you do that? Because but like I felt like you need more hatred towards the dog for whatever reason. I thought that would tie in more with the.
Yes, I agree. Like it was more about Cruella herself than like the dogs. You know, like yes, the dogs are there. They were a staple. They kind of made
I know you're right.
good they kind of made a good spot in the story, you know, like they had a good role in the story that was played in Cruella, but it was just, you know, it's more of like a real life situation, quote unquote. Like it's more, it's more of like a real life situation, quote unquote, because it's like, you know, human versus human, you know, kind of.
Yeah, thing. Like it was more about like what the family drama.
Yeah, like a fashion drama, you know, like who could be the best designer and stuff.
So I mean, honestly, I think that's pretty much all we can talk about because like now we're getting towards the second act and third act, which I feel like the movie definitely did a good job of like adding new things because like at first they reveal one thing and then you're like, oh wow, okay, so here we go. Then they reveal something else and you're like, okay, and then that last thing they reveal where it's like, oh you know, now you know how much
it kind of all ties in.
Yeah,
like,
all ties in, like, exactly.
That one thing, it just tied it all together.
But so I feel like, you know, overall it was really good, right? They introduced Cruella very well. They showcased her life, her hardships, then, you know, her talents. And then eventually the movie just picks up and it does feel like a, you know, original, like it was a very London's rock and roll because she's like challenging authority.
Yeah, and I think it was very original, in my opinion. I don't think I've ever really seen anything quite like it.
Yeah.
But, well, maybe. But I think with the name Cruella, like with the character Cruella, it's just like a whole nother.
It's interesting because you take this whole like, I guess it's an iconic villain, but I guess for us, she was more like just one of the villains. I feel like for us, we're younger, so we gravitate towards different villains here and there. But now it's gonna make Cruella more high stream. I mean, I was like, you know, it's like showcasing, like that's why you gotta enjoy life. You know, when you're young, you're at your prime. You know, Cruella was just doing this and that. She was living. She was hot. I was like, oh man, Cruella. But then you realize, oh, she's grows up to be this old, ugly, evil girl, and I'm like, no. But yeah. So like, it's definitely a good movie. Like, hopefully, you know, I mean, there's so much more they can do with the way things ended. So like, there could be a sequel. And like I said, she's still young. She's like, I guess if we follow the timeline, she's like what, in her 20s. Yeah. So she still has so much more because I believe she's like 50, maybe more in the original. Like she's already vintage. Like she's, you know, Madam Cruella, you know, like, and that's a good thing. They even explain like how she got her wealth and stuff because it's no secret that she was very powerful in the original movie, and so, you know, they explain everything, kind of like how everything gets started. I guess now from here on out, it's really like they can do anything, but eventually it will most likely tie into, you know, the original movie, which obviously we'll see what they do from there.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you guys, we can talk about this for a really long time, but we don't really want to spoil anything at the moment. So I mean, we can do a full in-depth non-spoiler free, or
we can do a non-spoiler, not really review but discussion, because like I said, this channel is originally mostly for podcasts, so definitely you know, keep an eye out. I'm going to probably do it later in the week once we get more time, go into spoilers, the full movie. I'll have my notes ready and everything. Sure. But yeah, just pretty much a solid movie, well executed. Definitely want to see what you guys, you know, think about it. So
yeah, please let us know what you think after you watch the movie. You know, it's on Disney Plus with the premiere access. But it's definitely worth it in my opinion. Yeah. I feel like honestly, like every movie that we've seen on premiere access has definitely been like worth it for sure. Yeah.
I feel like that's just something with Disney. I mean, like I know people say they want to wait, but like, well, you know, at that point you're either gonna be spoiled or whatever. Like I'm a big movie fan, so I've been buying them. Like, you know, we started with what I think it was Mulan, and even though like sure people say, oh, it wasn't worth it, but like by itself it's a good movie, but because we compare it, like Cruella works because it's original. Mulan, it's like it suffers from fans because people want something original and then they do it and then we hate it, and then if they do something that's literally the same, like Lion King, it's like, why, you know, it's the same thing. I paid X amount of money for the same movie. But no, Cruella was definitely original. So heck, if they do this for everything, I mean, when's Jafar coming out, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
When's Jafar? When's Ursula coming out? Oh my god. So definitely keep an eye out, and you know, like I said, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. And hey, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss out on anything else that I upload. And until next time, bye.